Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this video, make sure you do the good thing down below. But today's video is about Crescencio Summerville, and unfortunately he is going to be leaving Leeds United, or so it has been reported by many sources. So it's going to be West Ham, apparently, around £25 million plus add-ons. Now, a lot of Leeds fans have said 30 million for Crescencio Summerville, no less. £25 million plus add-ons, I think, is a decent price. Look, when you consider that Archie Gray went for 40 million or whatever he went for, it seems like not very much for somebody like Summerville, who scored 21 goals in all competitions last year. But when you actually think about it, this is more in keeping with the rest of Championship sales to Premier League clubs. This is more of a realistic price. £25 million. We can do a lot with that money. Can we replace somebody like Summerville in terms of his goals? Maybe, but his contribution to the team was unmatched really by anyone last season. Yes, he had little spells where he didn't score or assist or whatever. He had little off spells, but throughout the season, on the whole, he was a very good player. So we've got to think about starting to replace him. 25 million plus add-ons is enough money to recruit elsewhere, bank some of that money as well for when we go back to the Premier League, because now we should be on the right side of P&S with the Archie Gray and Glenn Kamara sales. So it's about trying to hold on to the rest of our players and reinvest some of that money into a good replacement. So there's two ways that you can look at this. You can look at the fact that we haven't had what necessarily you would call a proper number 10 for years now, since Pablo Hernandez. And you could look at the fact that we need a winger to replace Crescencio Summerville. So we go one of two ways with this. Either we buy a winger, and I've seen the short list is Jessurun Raksaki from Crystal Palace, who has been on loan to Charlton before, where I think he got, I think it was like over 20 goals and assists in a season. So look, he's come down to the EFL before and done really well. Then there's Jonathan Rowe, who we've played against multiple times for Norwich. A decent player. Wouldn't say he's a world beater, but he's a decent Championship winger and would do you a good job, especially coming into a team like Leeds, where you're going to be on the ball a lot, you're going to be attacking a lot, you're going to be on the counter-attack. He's very quick. The other one is signing Jack Clark back. So, and these last two, I would say, are a little bit less realistic in terms of signing Jack Clark back, which Sunderland are rating him 15, 20 million pounds, I think. So, look, you'd be replacing a 25 million pound sale with a 15 million pound or a 10 million pound sale. But under P&S, we could afford to do that, because selling Summerville for 25 million, look, Summerville, we signed him God knows how many years ago for 1.5 million, 2 million pounds or something as a youth prospect. And because now he's been on the books for a good few years, that'll be fully paid off. So this 25 million plus whatever's added on will be purely profit. So we can go and spend that if we wanted to. We could go and spend that on replacing him with the exact same amount of money we sold him for if we really wanted to. But it does kind of open up the door to signing somebody like Jack Clark, who, like I said, 10 to 15 million pounds is probably the outlay that you'd be looking at for somebody like Jack Clark. Or Gabriel Sara, who can play out on the left, can play out on the right, and can play through the middle as well. Gabriel Sara, I made a video on couple of weeks ago about a potential replacement for Glenn Kamara, somebody who can play in that sort of number 8 role and get forward as well. But Sarah is a very versatile midfielder. He can go and play out on the right, left, middle, and he, according to sources, would be around 15 to 20 million pounds from Norwich. Whilst this seems like a massive outlay in the Championship, because you've well, not yet, but because we look like we're going to be selling Summerville for that amount of money and it's pure profit, we could afford to do it. And if we get promoted, he's certainly a player, Gabriel Sara, who would do well in the Premier League. You can imagine that. I'm surprised that he hasn't had a move already to the Premier League. But if he sees that this is his only move and there's more of a chance of getting promoted with Leeds than with Norwich, then you could see the player maybe taking that decision. So it kind of remains to be seen on that one. It's interesting what we will do. I'll certainly make some videos. Basically another sort of a shortlist, a recruitment shortlist. We've got some ideas for that left-hand side. We've had a few ideas for the 10, but we'll have a deeper look into that. So check back on the channel in the next few days to see those videos. The only other thing is as well to say, like, look, we're caveating this by saying the reason why we could buy a number 10 is because we could put Jorginho out on the left wing. But if Crescencio Summerville goes and then Nonto goes, oh, do you know what, my mate's gone, I want to go as well now, then we need to start looking at getting a winger as well. And that's when it starts to not unravel, but it starts to get a little bit like, oh, there's more of the squad shift in here. Like when we watch those preseason friendlies, you look at the full squad and you're like, yeah, I'm very happy with this squad at the moment. This is the squad that I'd love to go into the season with. Obviously, then Summerville comes up. So you go, okay, well, we could potentially replace him if we have all the money from him to be able to spend. Then you go, oh, well, what if Nonto goes? What if Verba goes? And then you go, hold on, we need a lot more backup here. So, like, at the moment, our squad's perfect for a championship title run. But when we lose one or two more players late in the window, that's always a really awkward situation to be in, unless you've done your due diligence and you have players lined up in the background and you've put the feelers out already to say, look, if this player leaves, we want to sign your player, how much would it cost? And so I think Leeds will have done that. I think the 49ers are a lot more sort of shrewd in their work than what the last kind of board was, shall we say. So I think there will be feelers out there. I think there will have been contact made with certain players over certain deals to replace players that we've got. So hopefully there's not too much of a gap in terms of us recruiting players and losing players and stuff. But I am a bit worried about it. So let's keep a positive note on this. Look, Summerville, 25 million, it's a lot of money and it's going to reinvest back into the squad. So let's go out and get some good players. Let's go out and get a Gabriel Sara, and let's go out and get somebody else to go on the wing as well, I think, just to back us up in those positions. Because last season we had Jayden Anthony as well, who, let's face it, he wasn't fantastic, but now we haven't exactly got anyone to kind of deputise off the bench. So we've lost both of our left wingers, essentially. If Summerville goes and we've lost Jayden Anthony because he was on loan, you've now got 0 left wingers. Yes, Jorginho can play out there, but you probably want to sign at least one more and a number 10. So let's see what Leeds do in the coming weeks. But I don't like how it's getting closer to the start of the season and these things are happening and we've got not that much time. And also, the thing is, even if you do get somebody in, even if Summerville goes out the door, right, next week or late this week, and then you bring in someone the day after, you still missed most of pre-season, still going to take a while to bed in. So you're going to end up saying, I think Daniel Farke is the type of manager who will go, okay, Jorginho out on the left, Dan James out on the right. Put Jorginho through the middle, Dan James out on the right, Nonto out on the left, whatever. But he won't then play this new signing for a while. So it remains to be seen what happens here. It's not the worst thing in the world. You kind of expected Summerville to leave. Didn't expect to keep all of our players, but hopefully there's not too many more that go out the door now. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately. Check out back on the channel for a short list of replacements in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching though, and I'll see you in the next one.